Hi there, this is Tech Chick with another tech tip for the week. This week, I'm going to show you how to use VLOOKUP. So we're going to start by me sharing my screen. So give me a second here. So here's our example. We have some orders here and we have customers on another tab. So the orders here, these customers, some of them, but not all of them, are on our customers list. The idea being that these are customers that have placed orders. Some of them are new and some of them want to ship their orders. And this is a small example of a database of what you might have for your customers. So their billing address, their credit card information. By the way, these are all fake numbers. So can't share those on a training video like this with the billing and shipping address. So what we're going to do with VLOOKUP today is we're going to use the customer name and orders to match to the customer names in the customer's data to pull the shipping address for the customers that want to ship their orders. So the first thing we have to do when using VLOOKUP is that whatever column you're going to look up. So in this example, we want to look up the customer's name. We could use the customer number as well, and it would probably be faster, honestly. But in this example, we're just going to use the customer name to match up to the customer names in the customer's data. And in order to do that, the data has to be sorted by this column or whatever column you're going to be looking up. So the first step is that you need to sort your data. So we're going to highlight this entire thing. And if you're not an Excel expert, you can highlight your entire spreadsheet by just clicking on this corner here and it highlights it for you. We're going to go to data, sort, and then we're going to select by customer name from A to Z. Okay, so now our orders data is filtered. We're going to do the same thing with our customer data. So let's go here again, select the entire spreadsheet. Again, all you have to do is click on this corner here and it does it for you automatically. Go to data, sort, and we're going to choose customer name. Okay, now that our columns are sorted in alphabetical order, the next step is we're going to go back to orders and we're just concerned with the customers that want to ship, right? Because the customers that don't want to ship probably just bought their items in the store. So we could make a very complex formula with an if statement and a VLOOKUP. But to keep it simple and to keep this example simple, what we're going to do is we're just going to create filters out of our labels here of data so that we can just filter for the orders that need to be shipped. Since we have a field that flags if it needs to be shipped or not, we're just going to take advantage of that column. So you start by clicking in A1, hold down the shift and the control button at the same time, and then click your right arrow, and that should highlight the entire top header column. Then you're going to go to data and select filter. And what that does is it creates filters out of all our headers. We didn't need to do all headers, but I'm lazy and I just wanted to do it quickly. So go to column E where our ship field is and click on the down arrow. We're going to unselect, select all, and just select yes, because we're only interested again in the orders that need to be shipped. So now that we have our data sorted in alphabetical order, and we filtered for all the orders that need to be shipped, we're going to pull the shipping address from our customer's data. And I'm going to do a separate video on something that I actually learned this week called XLOOKUP, which is actually a lot slicker than VLOOKUP. So I will be creating a separate video for that shortly and explaining the benefits of using XLOOKUP versus VLOOKUP. So we're going to expand this field, and then now we're going to create our VLOOKUP. So we're going to say equals because we're going to use a function, and then we're going to say VLOOKUP. That's the function we're using, and then an open paren, and then it tells you the values that it needs to do the VLOOKUP. But I'm going to be honest with you, it took me a while to learn VLOOKUP because I don't think it's straightforward. And I didn't think Excel did a great job of explaining what these values were. But the first value is what's the value that we want to find in our customer data? Well, the first value, the value we want to look up is this customer's name right here. So that is your lookup value, the value you want to look up in the other set of data. And that's A2. The next value, and as you go, you'll notice that it jumps from the parameters that need. So first it bolded the lookup value. Now it's bolding the table array, telling you that that's the next parameter that you need to provide. So for the table array, we're going to go to our customer data because that's where we're going to look for our customer name. And we're going to start here because these are the customer names. But since we're going to return one of the columns in this data, we need to select column A, which is customer name, column B, customer number, column C, billing address, column D, phone number, and column E, shipping address, because we want to return the shipping address. So what I did to highlight these, and I'll do it again, click in this first field here, and then we're going to hold down the shift key and go to the right and keep clicking on the right arrow until you reach the shipping address. And then we're going to hold down shift and control again at the same time and click the down arrow. And that will select all your data like it did up here. And then we're going to put a comma. And then the next value is the column index number. So the column index number is the value you want to return, or which column number do you want to return from the lookup. So what it's going to do is it's going to take A2 in our orders data, look for that cell in this range of cells on the customer data. Starting here with A2, it's going to look for that customer's name through all these customer names. And we're including all this data because we're going to return column E. Now, the column index number is the actual number of the column. It's not A, B, C, D, or E like you would think. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're returning column index number 5. And then we want an exact match. We don't want Anakin Bluey. I believe on the first order, it's Anakin Skywalker that we're looking for. So on our orders, if we were to go back to our orders data, that first cell was Anakin Skywalker. If we select an appropriate match, it could return Anakin Bluey instead of Anakin Skywalker or not. So it's not what we're looking for. We are looking for an exact match. Apples to apples, oranges to oranges. We're looking for Anakin Skywalker. So we are going to say false because we want an exact match. And then we're going to click the tab button and it's going to return us back to the orders tab. And you can see that it's populated the address, the shipping address. Now, if we go look at Anakin Skywalker on the customer data and check his shipping address, let's see if this is correct. Starling, Anchorage, Alaska, 43988. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so another trick when you're working with a large set of data, actually, even with a small set of data, it could happen. You need to, we're going to make these absolute references to the row and column. And the reason that you do that is because we're basically locking those absolute values and we're telling VLOOKUP every time it goes to search, whether it's A2, A3, A4, whatever one of these values, it's going to go through this whole list because we're going to copy that function into these, or copy that, yeah, that function into these other columns, cells here, and repeat it for these customers as well. But here's the thing. In order for it to do that correctly, we have to make these absolute references to the row and to the column number. Otherwise, it's a relative reference. And if you have ever programmed, you know what that means. But relative means that it's gonna continue the search from where it left off. So if we say A2 to E17 here is the array that we're searching for, the next time when we get to Bingo Bluey, uh, it's going to start on A3 and go down that way. At least I believe that's how it does its search. So trust me when I say you want to put a $sign in front of these values to make it an absolute. Actually, let's not put the $sign there, and I'll show you what happens, okay? Let's not put the $sign there, and I'll show you what happens. So we're going to copy this. Sorry. I don't know what it thinks I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to expand this, but okay. It, for whatever reason, wow. That's one reason why I really don't like functions. Okay. So let me do this again. So I think this was A2 to E17. There we go. All right. We're going to go back here and copy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to paste it into these other cells here. And we're going to do a function paste. So again, I clicked into this cell, pulled down the shift key, and clicked in this last cell to highlight all these values here. And we copied this cell here. Now we're going to right click our mouse and we're going to select the function paste. All right, so you'll see that when it did the function paste, there's 4 values missing. And I am pretty sure there's not a Bluey Bingo, but I know for a fact there's a Cookie Monster that it should have found in our customers. So let's go look. Is there a Bluey Bingo? Is there a Cookie Monster? Is there a Daddy Pig? And is there a Miss Piggy? There's a Bingo Bluey, but there's no Bluey Bingo. There's our Cookie Monster. There's our Daddy Pig. And there is no Miss Piggy. So it did not find Cookie Monster and Daddy Pig because when we copied the function, see it started at A3 and it's going to E18. So when you copy the function and you paste it, because it's changing this lookup value from A2 to A3, it does the same with your lookup range. So in order to prevent that, we're going to go back here and fix it. Because obviously it didn't find Cookie Monster and it didn't find Daddy Pig. And we just saw them in the customer data. So those two should have been found and they weren't. So let's fix this. So again, we're going to make these absolute references by putting a $sign in front of A a dollar sign in front of 2. And you notice we're just doing this in this range. This is the range where it's searching for that value. This is the only place you need to make the row and the column absolute values. That way it doesn't change your range. We want this value to change when we post or when we paste that special function. We want A2 to change to A3 to A4 relevant to these cells here, but we don't want it to change our range. So that's what these absolute dollar signs make, these absolute references for the range. That's what we're doing. So we're again making both the column and the rows absolute. All right. And look, we got the same exact address. So now what we're going to do again is copy this, right click and copy. And again, we're going to click in this second cell here, F3, hold down your shift key, click into F17, right click. And again, you're going to paste function. And there we go. Now we have a shipping address for Cookie Monster and Daddy Pig. And let's go check and make sure that their shipping addresses are correct. So for Cookie Monster, it's 100 West Name Street, Montana. Cookie Monster. Yep, it's an exact match. And Daddy Pig is, okay, Junction City. Let's go back and look. Yep, exact same. All right, 200 Northern Boulevard, Junction City, California, 98776. Cool. It's a match. So that's all I had for today. I tried to make this a quick video and a quick tip for you. And hopefully this is something you'll be able to use in your work life or your everyday life. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. And thank you for watching.